Hi everyone, and welcome to your daily oracle reading. Now, this reading won't resonate for everyone. This is a special message from the universe meant for those people who have been on very active, intense spiritual journeys all their lives. So, the challenge is the Magician. This card speaks about the past and it represents your magical journey. It represents your magical adventure. It represents your self discovery. The card preceding the Magician is the Fool, which is the naive but curious child who has made the decision to sacrifice anything and everything in their lives, to drop all limitation, to drop everything that holds them bound to the earth, and to dare to take that leap of faith, to embark on this journey of self exploration, the journey to reaching mastery, and finally becoming the Magician. Card bearing the numerological symbolism of 1, which means new beginning, which means entering into a totally new, unexplored area of your existence. So that means that you have done so much. You have invested so much effort, energy, time, the whole power of your soul, the power of your dreams, of your ambitions, your inner Mars, so to speak, to become the Magician. Now, this wasn't just a simple daydream. It was like a very profound inner calling that you have felt even when you were a child. This means that you were born with a really strong sense of curiosity, which always led you into trouble, but every time you got into trouble, especially spiritual or magical trouble, you always learned something so valuable from those experiences. And this also means shadow work. This also means confronting your shadow. It also means maybe getting involved with the darker aspect of things. But without those experiences, you simply wouldn't be where you are now. You wouldn't possess the level of awareness that you do possess right now. Now, this also means that you had to accept the truth that being a magician, being a person who lives a magical life, means that there is no end, there is no limit, there is no moment in time when there you go, you are a master, you mastered everything, you reached full maturity, you have reached the end of the cycle. No, being a magician, living a magical life, involves that there's no limit, that you're always going to be a student regardless. You're always going to learn something new, even when you're 90 years old. There is no end to this. And you also discovered that the journey to become a magician didn't start in this life, but you had very many previous existences to this, because each era, each phase of the human collective's history was also a totally different chapter in the history and evolution of magic and spirituality. So you had to experience it, you have to live it in different timelines. But now you have reached the timeline, the present moment, our current era, where humanity as a collective, where even spirituality, where even magic, so to speak, are going to take a massive quantum leap, and things are going to be so different in the next era, in the era which is going to succeed ours. Now, when you have embarked on this magical journey in this life, all of this was kind of familiar to you. You knew that this was coming. You knew that you're going to experience really unusual and big things in this lifetime, just that in your mind it couldn't make sense how, or you couldn't see how all possible paths were going to lead to this. But that's why you had to surrender, that's why you had to trust, that's why you had to develop a deep sense of connection with the source, so that you are always going to be in the flow. But being in the flow many times represented living through rather negative things, because there's times when the flow constructs, when the flow causes evolution, but there's other times when the flow deconstructs, when the flow purges. Those times when purges do happen are usually pivotal points when the whole world, as in a collective, is embracing something totally new. Now, depending on your age, when the internet became a big sensation, when the internet entered in the lives of every individual without that many restrictions, when it became something part of normality, part of everyday life, that was such a pivotal point, and you lived through that and you experienced so very many different and relevant things which were linked to humanity taking a quantum leap through the internet, because the internet is nothing more than humanity's collective consciousness manifested in physical reality. Because basically, what does internet serve? It serves that we can get connected to each other and we can share information without having to physically be in the same place. And that is a massive and really, really powerful tool to accomplish things which maybe just 20, 30, 50 years ago were absolutely impossible and were science fiction. So those experiences, even the spiritual part of it, even the magical part of it, even the supernatural part of it, when you live through that pivotal point, when you live through that very special moment in history, were a significant moment in your magical journey, because you reached the greatest state of clarity, you reached a greatest state of mastery, because information came to you that much more easily. But in a very ironic way, it didn't help you that much practically. It just reinforced your self confidence. It just proved to you how special you truly are, because most of the information that came to you was already known by you intuitively. So nothing was actually that new. Maybe someone giving a shape and form to the information you already possessed was the surprising factor, because you could really identify with it, you could resonate with it, and that was the moment when you proved to yourself that intuition is very much real. That is when you prove to yourself that you mastered all of this knowledge in previous lives, because most of the information that came to you were documents, tomes, or philosophies created by the ancients, so they took place in the past, and the reason why you resonated them so much and the reason why you knew them was because most probably you were part of the people who created them or contributed to them. So you had to either invent it, be part of inventing it, or you were someone who already researched it or was part of it, interconnected. So this leads us to the present moment, because you are here. You were anticipating this one way or another. You knew that you were going to live a big world change moment, and where once in the past that wasn't that clear in your mind, you couldn't envisage how it could possibly happen. But living through everything and reaching the present moment just proved to you that you had all the reasons to trust, you had all the reasons to believe in yourself, and you have all the reasons to take your intuition as the most authentic guiding force in your life. Your intuition is more superior to internet, to practical physical knowledge, to someone's foresight, to mathematical calculations of probability. So basically, this means that you know everything that you need to know inside, and also that you're guided by a superior intelligence. It doesn't matter what way of perception you attribute to that intelligence. May it be the universe, may you call it God, may you call it your guides, or simply the quantum power of your subconscious mind. Regardless, it is working, it is powerful, it holds the truth, and it has guided you here. Because the miraculous part of your story was the knowledge itself that you knew this. As if you look at the physical depiction of the card, you can see the infinity symbol above the head of the magician, and also the drums, which means frequency, which means transfer of information, which means having to interpret something which is non-verbal. And all of this symbolism points to the fact that you have everything you need inside to hold the truth. So you need to trust yourself. You need to trust that that infinity symbol is actually exists in your own life as well, because it means the infinite flow of divine energies that is coursing through you. And of course, you receive it, you take it inside of yourself, you purify it, you transmute it, you use your inner alchemy, and then give it back to the universe, charging it with your own special interpretation, perception of the frequency, as in the drums and in the music. Now, the challenge of this card is really simple, because you already know that there is no end to learning, there is no end and limitation to what it means to be a magician, to live a magical life. So right now, you have to take a short break from studying it, from being passive to being like more of a passive part of it, and embody it. This is the time when you need to actually use your magic, when you need to apply everything that you have learned, everything that you have recalled from your subconscious, from your past lives. You need to embody that knowledge. If there was ever a time when you need to use your magic, when you need to do something really big with your magical life, not just enjoy it, not just be a passive part of it, not just to learn from it, not just to make your own existence easier and more exciting, you need to fulfill the role that the universe, that the divine, or whatever you call it, has given to you. So basically, the time for study, the time for deep contemplation, the time for reflection is over, and the actual work is going to begin very shortly if it hasn't begun already. Now we get to the opportunity, which is the builder, and numerological interpretation of the card is also really significant because it holds the number 4, as in 2020, because the year 2020 also is associated with the number 4, which is profound transformation, but also reaching a state of stability, of groundedness. Basically, it means rebuilding everything. Now, some people have the role to rebuild or build or construct or to do something physically, materially, through their studies, through what they learned to master, through what they discovered in themselves that they are talented and passionate about. And, of course, that means that they have chosen their path. This is what they can offer to the collective. Their skills, talents, whatever they invested time to study in, is going to be what makes them personally a builder. Now, the builder in classic tarot is the emperor. It is the representation of the sovereignty, the authority that we possess over ourselves. And if we lead by example, if we embody our principles, if we embody our equity, if we embody everything that we believe in, well, then chances are that we are going to become an inspiration for other people, a leader, so to speak, but someone, the positive expression of this card, who leads through respect, because people follow him because they respect him, because he is a value in their lives. And this is the kind of builder you have become. But unlike those people who have chosen a more material, more down to earth means to co-create reality, you have chosen the principality, you have chosen the mental, intellectual, spiritual aspect of things. So This card offers you the chance, the opportunity to be who you are and to work through your own means, to actually do what you have chosen to do. And sometimes that requires a surrender, to accept in yourself that maybe in this moment in time, the fact that you do not possess material wealth, you do not have that much power over the material side of things, you may not have that much money, you may not know how to contribute and help that much physically, but this is not a curse, this is not bad karma, this is not some kind of punishment or twisted manifestation of fate, but rather, why should you possess all those things when you don't need it, when that is not your role? So you possess everything that you could possibly need to fulfill your role in the present moment. So surrender the other part. That doesn't mean that you're gonna stay like this forever. That doesn't mean that you're not gonna have power over physical reality, the material side of things. This doesn't mean that you have to be poor or powerless materially all your life. This just means that when we are living such a very important pivotal point in our history, everyone has to master and possess what they do the best, which means that spiritually, intellectually, you're infinitely powerful. You have everything you could possibly want. You have so much power inside of you. You have so much goodwill. You have so much unconditional love. So it's not even a game of the ego where you have to condition yourself and purify and purge all that. You have done everything, so you are ready to fulfill your role. And this is the biggest opportunity you have in your whole life. So just do whatever you're good at. If you're a thinker, then all you have to do is think. If you're a philosopher, all you have to do is just allow your thoughts to go as deeply and as quantically, as multi-dimensionally as you possibly can, and write it down to inspire other people. If you're a historian, then record what you see, but open your perceptions to their maximum potential so you can record it from different points of view. If you're a summoner, then summon, then call in help. If you're a healer, then heal. If you're an artist, inspire, create beauty, have no limit. Yes, materially, all of us are going through quite challenging times and we have a lot of limitations materially, but this is a huge opportunity to artistically, intellectually, creatively be as free as you could have never been in your life, because in a moment of crisis, in a moment when the world is facing big problems, who is going to judge you? You can write, you can create, you can express, you can do whatever your heart desires, and no one will judge you because everyone is living the same crisis as you are. So no one's gonna judge you, no one's gonna misinterpret you. But this is a dichotomy because everyone will. This is a certainty that you'll be judged, you'll be criticized, you'll be looked at or whatever. But it doesn't matter because there's no consequences. Everyone is suffering the same thing. So even those people who judge you or criticize you are criticized and judged themselves. So this is a cycle. It's going in circles. And this is actually a huge opportunity because even though everyone judges, everyone criticizes, everyone expresses themselves, they're still way more tolerant than they have ever been in their lives. And this makes them able to receive the criticism, not just give it. They know that they're in the same boat, and it doesn't matter if they have different opinions. They're just doing what they can to express themselves. And this gives you more liberty than you have ever had in your life, because everyone's mind, everyone's heart, everyone's attitude is more receptive and open than ever before. Now, if you think about what this means magically, metaphysically, psychologically, parapsychologically, well then, this is the biggest opportunity most of us are ever gonna have to be ourselves, to embody whatever uniqueness we found within. And no one is going to challenge it truly, maybe just verbally, and no one's gonna care that much. Everyone has to accept. They don't have a choice. If you're someone who fights for peace on earth, let's say this is your reality, this is what you perceive, well then what a perfect opportunity, because you know that a crisis has to exist for people to find compassion within themselves. There has to be a victim, otherwise no one would care. If you're someone who, let's say, is fighting a shadow agenda and you're that kind of warrior, well then what a perfect opportunity, because who are they gonna come against? There's millions of people like you. How can they eliminate a million people? So it doesn't matter which story you're living. What actually matters is that from many perspectives, this is an opportunity you cannot miss out. This is your chance to shine. This is your chance to be, ironically, as free as you could ever be. Now, the resolution, the Seven of Fire, represents the more distant future, one which you're also going to experience. Because right now, you know that the very close future is definitely, from all perspectives, rebuilding, restructuring, rearranging, improving, evolving, in one word. But then the distant future, after everything reaches a certain stability, after not just the crisis but also the changes it is designed to produce are going to take effect, new paradigm, so to speak, is going to be one where you are actually working, where you're applying everything that you learn to master until that present moment in the distant future. So that's why this card is depicting a blacksmith striking iron and turning it into a tool, because that is what you're going to be doing. You're going to be teaching, you're going to be master blacksmith, so to speak, teaching his or her students how to shape reality, teaching all the new and revolutionary ecologic discoveries, advancements you are also creating, that you're being part of, because psychology cannot be actually measured. It is a very relative science. So you are actually someone who is being part of its evolution, who is writing the next chapter of that scientific branch's life story. So that means that everything that you're going through right now is going to be a really important source to obtain mastery and to harvest the knowledge that you're going to pass on to your apprentices. But this also reflects that the world is going to be in a constant creational state, so to speak, where we're going to build different things, we're going to research, we're going to be working on much more elevated, much more constructive goals, so to speak, where survival of our species might be the very last thing on the list, because it won't be that important, because we'll have everything we could possibly need to guarantee that survival for a very long time into the really distant future. So if there's no worry, there's no problem. And that leaves a space, both in our lives as individuals and as a collective, to focus on totally different things. If our survival is no longer a problem, if the basic need is more than met, well then that gives us a great deal of liberty to go where no one has ever gone before, and that purpose is going to be on the top of the list, which is going to open so many new doors of possibilities, opportunities, understanding, knowledge. And yes, you're going to be part of all of that because you helped create it. Well, thank you so much for listening. Stay safe and blessed, everyone. Bye for now.